before we got the VA, our process was a little messy, especially trying to be able to get the video edited and completed in a timely manner. When it comes to editing out the video and creating that video, it has to be perfect or else it's not leaving my computer. And because of that, it takes a long time, and I'm talking about days.
Right.
And I was like, okay, if we're going to build a business out of this, I can't continue doing this because, I'm only going to be hindering our growth at that point because we can only get so much done. And so we had talked about it and we're like, look, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to free ourselves up more to be able to work on our company instead of in our company, to be able to build it to where we need it to go. And when I met you at the coffee shop and you gave me, you told me about the VAs, I took it to Jen, and she didn't even have to think about it, which is quite surprising. And she was like, let's do it.
The timing was perfect. So when she met you, she had just come off of editing, I think for like 3 straight days for 10 hours each day.
Oh, wow.
For a big client that we had. And in that time, she couldn't meet other clients. We couldn't shoot for other clients. We couldn't market. We couldn't do anything because she was in front of a computer for 3 days.
Yep.
And so when she met you, she came back and said, this is what he does. I was like, hired. Do it now. And she was like, well, what about the money? And that's when I was just running. I was just like, we'll find it. We will find it. We need it because this is what we need. And thankfully, we were right because he's freed up, so much time. And then it's a different perspective too, because his editing skills are very different from ours. So when he sees something, usually it's very good. And if we want him to go in a different direction, he adjusts very well and learns, what style that client is asking for.
How much time do you figure you freed up by hiring somebody else to do that?
Oh my goodness. At least if I was to kind of put in perspective, almost a whole work week worth of time, because it was just taking a long time.
And now you're able to use that time to do what?
To network, to go and talk to other potential clients. For instance, one of our clients that I was able to get, because I had the extra time, is Jordan Ford. What I did there is, I had a day where didn't really have anything on schedule, so I went into San Antonio and started to essentially door knock. And I walked up to Jordan Ford, got out of my car, went straight in there, and pitched myself to the GM, and was able to capture one of the vehicles that they had on the lot at the time to show them what we were capable of doing, and it turned into a partnership with them. So
it's a big deal.
That whole work on your business opposed to in your business to help it grow was what we're able to get out of it at this point. And it's just been, so helpful for us to grow.
And how does that feel as far as the mental bandwidth there too? Because I know from video editing myself, you have to concentrate on what you're doing. You can't multitask while you're video editing. No. So you have to be paying full on attention.
Yes.
But now, so you've got that mental bandwidth back too. How does that feel? Because I know it's got to feel different. Your work week is completely different now.
Yeah, it's fantastic because when we talk to certain individuals, potential clients, they ask us, well, what is it that you can do? Well, there's a whole mess that we're able to do. You just let us know what your thought process is. And then, we'll get with our VA. If we don't already know how to do it, we'll get with our VA. Hey, do you know how to do this? If not, I need you to
learn it
and work on it, because we do have a client that's asking for this. And it's helped so much to be able to just essentially delegate that side of the business out that takes up so much of our time away from clients to be able to grow our business even more.
And that feels good too. What's your experience been, Jen, with this?
He's
Or your
been,
thoughts?
he's been great. And like I said, he's freed up a lot of time. I mean, she's no longer just sitting in front of the computer. And like I said, she has that ability to go out and just make friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Her sitting in front of the computer is kind of a waste. So it is really good to have her just, out there meeting everybody, because, I mean, you don't know who you don't know, right? And your business isn't going to grow until you meet those people.
That's right.
So you can't have her sit in front of a computer. So once we get all the stuff shot, and we can send it over to him, and he, works his magic, we have a faster turnaround. It's just been great.
So what about challenges with your VA? Because you guys brand new to the space.
Right.
And I know you're working with my team on it. But what are the challenges as you first started this process? Did you run into any challenges?
There was a couple of barriers that we had to get around, I guess you can say. One being the time difference, between our time here and their time over in the Philippines. But it really wasn't that bad. And then, of course, with them being on an island, they're subject to some bad weather.
Yeah.
Typhoons.
Kind of messes with your upload and download times.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But, that when that happened, I mean, me and Jen were just so grateful for our VA, because he pushed through it and he got everything done that we asked for him to get done, even through that bad weather, that typhoon that they were having.
Mm-hmm.
And, I took some of the helped take some of the workload off of him also. Got back in front of the computer a little bit because I knew they had some issues going on. But, I mean, he was still able to really just knock it out of the park, even with the issues that he was running into over there. So it was, definitely hard workers for sure.
Yeah, we were really impressed because he still met the deadline. We had a Friday deadline, and they were in a typhoon, and he still was able to meet the deadline through all of that bad weather. So it was very impressive.
Okay. So weather definitely a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
time a challenge. What about managing your VA? What about communication? Has that all been like smooth or any?
It's been pretty smooth for me. I mean, the whole the app that we use to communicate with them, Slack, has been very helpful. There was a time where we had sent some stuff over to him, and I guess he really wasn't understanding what I was typing, and so I said, hey, get on a team meeting with me real quick. And from Slack, we were able to see each other face to face, and instead of reading the type, I was able to actually talk to him.
Yeah.
And so my instructions were able to get across better that way, because I felt like maybe he wasn't understanding what I was trying to type in my instructions that I was sending over to him. So that helped as far as managing that aspect. And then when we got Sarah on board with us for her, her supervisory skills to help keep everything smooth and going the way it's going, that was a godsend.
Yeah, that really felt, even to me, because I'm monitoring everything as best I can, but it's like it seemed to take off once Sarah came in there. And we actually learned from that too, because I just brought on a full-time VA supervisor, which is going to be that person, not just for video editors or social media managers, but everybody. It's going to be that point of contact to make sure that communication, that oversight's happening.
Yeah.
So we learned from that whole experience that we went through, because we want it to be easy for you guys. You're already busy. You know what I mean? Let's just make it as easy as we can. So.
And that helped out a lot because, she reaches out, hey, how's everything going? Is there anything that you would like for me to make sure your VA takes care of this week? Is there anything that specific you want him to work on? And I'll let her know, oh, yeah, I would like for him to get a little bit better at this and maybe work on a little bit of this. And, it's great not to have to always try to follow up. Hey, did you get this done? Hey, did you get that done? Because again, we're trying to grow our business.
That's right.
And to be able to have someone like Sarah to be able to say, okay, look, this is what your client, this is what, Indigo wants you to do. I want you to make sure that, you've got it down. And then give me your progress and what you've done at the end of the day, so I know what you're working on is, we're seeing progress in that part of your job.
Yeah, and whatever the project is. It's something that we're really focusing in on in our company is, I call it white glove service, because that's really what we're trying to do, is make it so simple because I'm a business owner. It's like, I'm busy. I don't want to have to micromanage something. It's like, isn't that what I'm paying you for? You know what I mean? I know I have to train them because it's industry specific or business specific, but I want to give you the list of things to do or whatever, and I just want to make sure they get done. Really, you have to have oversight to do that. It's like a VA in isolation is not going to do well. And this is something that, with what was happening with Christian and you guys initially, was he was kind of by himself a lot on that. So we learned from that whole experience to say, okay, hey, look. And that's why for folks out there that are looking to hire VAs, if they're going to do it themselves, there's a lot of responsibility there, because they have to manage that person. They got to keep them plugged in. You got to cultivate and nurture that relationship.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree with that, Jen?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's when Sarah came on board and she was able to take that over. That helped out just a lot, because we weren't, initially we weren't managing him correctly, just because we were, running off with 100 different other things. We kind of forgot. We just uploaded stuff. Here's a project. And then we ran off to something else. And Sarah was able to step in and just manage, okay, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with this project? So on and so forth. So it helped a lot.
And not only that, some of it too, that being that language barrier also, to have that, he may have been interpreting something I was saying one way, and if she saw it, she may see it, the way that I'm trying to explain it to him. And, she's able to, let him know, this is what they're asking for. It's not what you're thinking it is. But because of that language barrier, it helps a lot to have that secondary person to be able to
good point.
give clarity.
And he speaks English very, very well, very fluently. However, we use slang a lot.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize that we're using slang terminology, because it's regular terminology to us. So it might be interpreted a different way.
Sarah's very good at getting clarification when she doesn't understand something too.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and there's something to that supervisor level. I think it's super key on that. So if somebody was looking to hire a VA to help them with their business, let's start with you, Allison. What advice would you give them on that process?
I mean, I would definitely consider it, because the way it's helped us, we had thought about it, we had discussed it, we didn't really know where to go. Honestly, the first place that we thought about going was Fiverr and getting someone off of Fiverr. But again, you don't have the, you don't know their experience as well. It's hard to keep in touch with them. But when we met you, it was just like everything was just lifted off of our shoulders, and that, part of our business.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a VA, I mean, honestly, there's so much good that could come from it.
And you made the
in
process
every
very easy, because you gave us a lot of options and then said, okay, why don't we try some things out, essentially interviewing them, give them practice, see, which ones will work and which ones weren't. We wouldn't even have thought to do that.
Oh, yeah.
If we had hired somebody off of Fiverr, we would have just been like, okay, well, I guess we get what we get kind of deal. And you gave us many options. Here's this person who can do this. Here's this person who can do that. And pointing out their skill set and what they're good at. And so we never would have thought of that. So your process was actually very, very good in helping us make a decision on which VA to choose.
Because not only after the the test, whether or not they can edit to the ability that we'd like them to be able to meet them face to face after that on a Zoom and talk to them and really kind of get to know them a little bit better as a person, instead of it just being through a computer. Talk to them and figure out if this person's essentially personality matches up with what we're looking for too.
Yeah. Because it's a relationship. You're looking to have somebody that will come and work with you, but then stay for a long period of time, you know?
Right.
I think that's powerful.